This is Rugby Round-Up. Coming up, yet another defeat for Bees. We look ahead to Moseley's trip to Exeter, and Brian Dick looks at Moseley's prospects. Hello and welcome to Brian Dick's Rugby Round-Up. I'm joined by the voice of Midlands Rugby, Brian Dick. Hello, Brian.
Hi, Chrissy.
But let's look back at Bees' match against Doncaster, and let's hear what Russell Earnshaw had to say.
Well, I just threatened in the change room that if they didn't play well enough tonight, then we'll be taking match day 19 on Saturday. Seem to do the job. There's a few guys that are, working their way into it. I wouldn't say that anyone's guaranteed a position at the moment, but it's starting to become a bit clearer.
Well, that was Russell Earnshaw. What do you think, Brian?
Well, on the face of it, a 33-7 defeat isn't good. But I would agree with Russell, there were lots of signs of improvement last night. The scrum, which has been their Achilles heel all season, was much, much better. They actually pushed Bedford off their ball once and they won a penalty, which is absolutely unheard of this season. And they didn't actually dip too badly in the second half, which is what's happened in previous matches. They've scrummed well for a half and then it's dropped away in the second half. They actually maintained it pretty much until about the 80th minute when the obligatory penalty try came. As regards the final 22, I think really Russell knows his final 22. It's perfectly obvious which guys there aren't going to make it into the final playoff matchday squad. And to my mind, I think all they're doing now is treading water. They need to be putting some of those guys out, getting those combinations grooved, and then hitting the ground running in the playoffs.
And a home match against Plymouth on Saturday. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, that's going to be tricky. Again, Plymouth's, like so many championship sides, Plymouth's main strength is in the forwards, which is B's area of weakness. However, they are getting better. That win, I think, is going to come at some stage this season. And again, it's a home match. It's another decent opportunity.
Oh, fingers crossed. And next, we move on to a daunting trip to Exeter for Moseley. Here's the thoughts of Ian Smith.
Well, obviously well aware it's going to be a difficult fixture. They're flying pretty high in the league, as we all know. I think the main thing is we concentrate on our part of the game that we need to get operating, really. I think we can cause problems, but I think we all appreciate and know that it's going to take a very well-motivated group of people to go down there and get anything out of that game.
Well, clearly Ian knows it's going to be a difficult task against Exeter. What are your thoughts, Brian?
Well, he's absolutely right in that. I can't disagree. It is going to be very, very difficult. Exeter have recovered their form after a mid-season stumble. They're looking like they're destined for a championship playoff final against Bristol. It's going to be very, very difficult for Moseley. And we've got some video here just to show exactly where they're struggling at the moment.
Well, that's right. We do have some footage of the match against Bedford. Brian, can you talk us through that?
Absolutely. Well, here we see they've taken really good line-out ball. They've moved the point of attack away from the set piece. But who have they got in midfield popping up? Not the creative guy that you want, not Tristan Roberts. It's another forward. And then another phase, it's taken up again. It's another forward. There's no pace on the game. And that recycling is absolutely torturous. Rob Thirlby comes into the line there. He's a back, but he's totally flat. There's no space at all. Gareth Taylor digs for it. And there we have it again. It's another back row forward. Again, Moseley really struggling for momentum here. Tristan Roberts gets the ball, he gets a chance to spin it wide, but again, it's to Chevy Pennycook, another forward. Doesn't break the gain line, and Bedford can basically amble around, reorganise their defensive line, and Moseley are just struggling to break that line at all and get any sort of go forward.
Well, that's the problem they've got at the moment, isn't it, scoring points? But they've got some positive aspects to their game. Talk us through the scrum, Brian.
Well, absolutely. Their scrum is, if not the best, one of the best in the championship. And it's not just three guys, Nathan Williams, Adam Caves, Terry Sigley. They've got Rupert Harden to come into that mix as well. And Harden and Sigley and Williams, pretty much interchangeable. And most teams in the division would kill for that depth. And we've got a couple of clips here of them again against Bedford, how they put what is a good pack under real pressure. Here we are, late in the game, chasing a bonus point. This time they've got the feed. They take a while to get themselves organised, but then the surge comes and the Bedford scrum breaks up. And I'm not sure Moseley didn't lose control of that there, but the point remains. They got a big shove and they got the points for it. And what could be a crucial bonus point at the end of the season.
Thanks for that, Brian. Now let's turn to National 1 and Stourbridge's match against Wharfdale. going to be a tough game, isn't it, Brian?
It is. It's a big game. It's one they really need to win. They lost again at Blaydon last week, which is it was a big setback for them. They're at the wrong end of the table. They're only one place above the relegation zone. Wharfdale at home, again, not going to be easy, but it's the sort of game they need to win if they're going to get out of it.
Thanks for joining us again, Brian, and thank you for watching. We'll leave you now with Worcester's Ollie Frost showing his moves off the pitch with his breakdancing routine. See you same time next week.